This is my Roomba, Remy. Remy lost all of his money from degenerate gambling. I want to help Remy out, but unfortunately he's only really good at cleaning, so I need something that's easy and can also bring in a ton of money. Modern art, or as I like to call it, the billionaire scam, is stupid. Look at these paintings. On the left, we have shit thrown on a canvas, and on the right, we have even more shit, but it's just in circles. These pieces of paintings bring in so much money, except they take no effort to make. They're so bad that I think my Roomba can make these paintings. Let's break down the scam real quick. Imagine we have one guy with a painting that's worth no money and a guy with $1,000 in cash. Now, if they trade, the guy with the cash should still be worth $1,000 and the painting should still be worth nothing. But that's not true. What actually happens is the painting is now valued at $100,000. So we've just created $100,000 from nothing. So how does this all help Remy? It's pretty simple actually. All we have to do is toss on some components so Remy can spew out colors while he drives around. That way he can make these really shitty paintings and then we can turn it around and sell it to a billionaire for profit. Alright, now that we have the plan, it's time to actually build the thing. Step 1. We're gonna have to neuter Remy. These here, we do not want. We only want the paint touching these three wheels right here. So these guys we gotta go, these guys gotta go. So I think we're gonna snip these guys off and remove these guys. Here are some primary components that we'll be using for the project. We have a relay system. We're using a Raspberry Pi as the brain of the project. And we have some pumps as well, along with some extension tubes for the pumps. Here's some coding I did to make the relays work. However, I know coding is really boring, so I'll toss in a little Subway Surfers for all you low attention guys. For those that are interested in how it works, our Raspberry Pi is basically picking a random number between 1 and 4. Out of those numbers, it'll determine which relay to turn on, which will then determine what pump to turn on, and then it will repeat the process about every 20 seconds.
Today's the day. I have completed the first of hopefully only one of the prototypes. Drumroll please. This is prototype number 1. We got our motors mounted up here. We got a battery for the Raspberry Pi, our relay, and our battery for the motors down there. And then in these little channels right here is where our our paints are gonna go. So we're gonna test it here soon and praying that it works out just fine. Before we test the robot, we actually need to build it in an arena or it's just gonna drive all over the floor. I took a ton of these like B-reel shots of me building this thing, but they're all super boring. So I think I might just like splice them together, throw a little music on, and we can just chill and watch them.
Okay, here we are. Test 1.5. As you might be able to see, there's some pink on the mat already. That's because I tried to start the Roomba, then put the paints on, and that led to, it was terrible. I couldn't do it. The pink paint got everywhere. We had to stop. So now we got the paints already loaded. Hopefully they stay on. Hopefully everything goes well, and we have a good test run. Let's get to it. Okay, that is not what I expected. I expected it to, bump and run straight lines. But instead it found I think it was the dirt sensors. It could sense that it was dirty. So it was just spinning on those spots. And you could see me it was spun. I was trying to get it out of that singular area. But what went great was the motors. I did not expect the paint to come out. And we used way less than I expected, but we got good coverage on this board. So, all in all, I would say it's a success. Alright, now that we have the painting, it's time to sell, right? Wrong. We are not selling right now. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The painting actually doesn't bring in any money. The only thing that brings in money in the art world is the name of the artist. If the artist isn't popular, the painting won't be of any value. But if the artist is popular, then we have a real moneymaker. So, we need to make Remy popular somehow. And I think the best way to do that is to get him published. Welcome to my college. Here it is, Remy's painting, hung up within my college, making him officially a published artist. Well, that's a wrap on this one. Thank you for watching. If you happen to be a multi-billionaire who loves dumb robots, hit me up and maybe we can talk business.